And welcome to another episode of AP Taylor Swift. In light of the upcoming Eras Tour documentary series, we wanted to take a moment and revisit one of our favorite episodes where we discuss the Tortured Poets Department's addition to the Eras Tour and how that changed the show and changed the meaning of it. And we are so excited about this series that we are actually going to be doing some cool stuff on Substack with this series that's coming out and talking about it, but I always get the URL wrong. So, Jody, I'm going to let you talk about what we're doing.
Okay, so for our Substack subscribers, whether you're free or paid, you can join us on a Substack live every Sunday after the release of the new episodes. So the first one, we will be live Sunday, December 14th, Sunday, December 21st, and Sunday, December 28th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, each of those Sunday nights, to do live reactions to the Eras Tour End of an Era documentary episodes that were released that week. So be sure to subscribe to our Substack at aptaylorswift.substack.com/subscribe, because our subscribers will get notified when we go live, and you can join us. You can ask your questions, share your reactions. This will be a really great interactive way to be part of the discussion together.
And if you can't make it live, but you would still like to hear our conversation or engage with our content, you can become an after school subscriber. So, after school is our paid content where we release episodes usually monthly. Honestly, we're still new, so we're figuring out the cadence, but we release special bonus episodes that are for paid subscribers only. You get other benefits like the chance to maybe vote on some upcoming songs or topics, and you get a heads up on what songs and topics are coming up, so you can be thinking about it, preparing for it, or reading if it's going to be book related. And you'll be able to watch the recordings of these Eras Tour documentary reaction conversations. So anyone can join live, but if you want to actually access them after the fact, you can become an after school subscriber.
Little bonus benefit to our paid subscribers. So thank you for supporting us.
I have nothing administrative to add to this conversation other than I'm really excited for this series. I just saw the new trailer and I'm super, super stoked. So I think it'll be fun to go back and listen today to our old Eras reactions. It seems like a lifetime ago now, but man, I'm really excited to relive it.
No one is as excited as your cat is, Monzi, that I can hear in the
Merlin
background.
just,
Hello, and welcome to another episode of AP Taylor Swift, the podcast for Swifties who like to dive a layer deeper into the music. So lean in close, turn up your volume, because class is in session. We're your hosts. I'm Monsi.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Jody.
And we are your unofficial professors of Taylor Swift.
Hello, and welcome to a very special, yet again, bonus episode of AP Taylor Swift, where we are here to discuss some new things, such as the Tortured Poets Department being added to the Eras Tour set list, which was very exciting. So we are here just to chat about that, what we thought about it, what our reactions were from all of the great details we could see from grainy live streams during my work day, depending on your time zone. I don't know what it was for everyone else.
There was productivity around the world tanked precipitously during that, when the Eras Tour started back up. Like, that was incredible to see.
Yeah.
It was the live stream I was watching. I think at one point they were like, yeah, there's like 150,000 people streaming that individual live stream alone. I was like, okay.
I've seen so many posts about how, like, watched a pixelated, grainy version and my life has been changed forever.
Jen, you and I were talking about this earlier. Like, we're all marketers here. Like, why is Taylor Nation not doing their own live stream and just selling ad space? Like, the impressions on that, they could sell that for so much money, and it's not going to eat into ticket sales at all because the tickets are sold out.
It's the last thing, like, on the internet that is untouched by capitalism, truly.
I will say the person who I watched, I did Venmo him $25 because I was like, "You're doing the Lord's work right now. Thank you so much."
So, but does the person recording it actually get the money? Like the
The
how does
person
that work?
I was watching was someone who watches multiple live streams at the same time. So if anyone goes down or lags or has an issue, then he immediately pulls a new one up. So he has
Yeah,
like
a
a mission
system.
control is what it seemed like he was. And I was
Okay,
like,
so he's doing some work, but there are other people who are just they have somebody else who's in the room in the stadium streaming, and what we really should be doing is paying those people not to sing along.
And I'm also
Sorry.
thinking, I'm like, Jen, have you just funded piracy? Like, are you
Okay, anyway, not the point of
are
today's
you a
topic.
pirate?
The point of today's conversation is we wanted to talk about the songs that she did add to the set list and our reactions. Obviously, we've talked a little bit about the songs themselves before, but we did a special Eras Tour episode back in the fall when the movie came out, and we talked about our experiences going and seeing the Eras Tour live and how seeing some of these songs performed changed our perception and interpretation of these songs. So that's what we're going to do today.
let's maybe real quick, just like first reactions as you like saw the changes.
Perfection,
And then
amazing, unbelievable, no notes.
we'll go through song by song. One thing I will say is it was really interesting just to see what she changed from the rest of the set list.
Justice for Tolerate It.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had really strong opinions, but for the most part, all of it was if
made
you had
sense.
asked me to guess, I would have guessed almost exactly what
Yeah.
happened. The biggest shock to me was this singing Cardigan from the top of the folklore house. That was an immediate out of body experience where it just wasn't the music I was expecting with that visual. And I was like, okay, this is what we're doing now. And the combination of folklore and Evermore, I actually personally really like because they were sister albums.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun to see them woven together that way.
I just want to put on the record for our listeners and witnesses that calm collected Jen was freaking out that Willow might be cut. And she was very, very concerned about that.
Willow marked as safe was the actual.
I was so nervous. I just love that she did so many versions of Willow that she released to us, but the Eras Tour is the best version of Willow.
It's also like, Jen's aestheticism song. It just
is
pure vibes. I'm trying to go back to our it was amazing.
It was so good.
My reaction, so I'm the only one out of the three of us that's not going to be seeing the Eras Tour again.
You don't have tickets yet. We're gonna manifest
I would like to take this time to just tell our listeners, if anyone is selling a ticket for their Eras Tour ticket, like, please hit me up. I would like to go. I really need to go see this show again. But yeah, so I think I fell in love with the show all over again because just like rewatching all of it, I do think that the choices that she made were great ones, but I was originally very against Tortured Poets Department. I can't say the name of this album. TTPD. I just can't get it right. I was really against it being added to this Eras Tour. I've since then seen a few versions of people chattering about how if Midnights was 13 sleepless nights, this is the fortnight. This completes the fortnight. It's the end of an era, whatever. The way she integrated it into the show, I thought was incredible. Amazing. Loved it. Got chills, like literal shivers. And seriously, it's a tiny pixelated little live screen with somebody singing in an awful voice. And yet the emotions hit great. I love what she did with the songs, and we'll go into that. Yeah. But I like the fact that she changed it up. It gives you an idea of how she maybe wants the album to be interpreted beyond just what was on the album. So yeah, that was my reaction.
It's a rave review because you were definitely very against. You're like, this can't be in the show. It's
I was like, well, mainly because I don't have tickets. I was like, why would you do this? Why would you do this?
Okay. To me. Why would you do this to me personally?
Right.
Fair. Totally fair.
Well, do we want to get into the songs?
Let's do it. I mean, I feel like even before you get into the songs, you get the visuals on the screen of the falling windows and you have a road. Very surrealist.
It is very surrealist. And the road was interesting to me. So we're going to combine But Daddy, I Love Him and So High School in our conversation because she combines them in the show.
Justice for So High School.
I loved the way it was integrated.
it was a fun little mashup, but the road was really interesting because it is that transition. It's the primary visual piece, and then it comes down onto the stage. And I was immediately pulled back to, we have so many references to small towns in other songs. And White Horse, something about this one horse town or this small town, and
Mhm.
you get those things, and then you even get in Death by a Thousand Cuts the idea of traffic lights. And so this idea of this road was just really interesting to me as our primary entry into the Tortured Poets department, because it's very small town, it's moving forward, but I felt like the Tortured Poets department was not really a moving on album. It was kind of a sitting in the moment album, until we get to the manuscript, as when you kind of that sign off. So I thought that road was just a fascinating visual to start this entire era.
I think that the album is a journey. It's an emotional journey, and that road on the stage takes you on this journey.
Yeah, and I actually, in some of the visuals overall, I've caught references to past eras in it.
Mhm.
And we talk about how just like in the show in general, like, or maybe we will talk about this or not, but like the dresses have changed colors. She's doing things where she's like crossing lines that she had previously drawn very
Mhm.
rigidly. And um, I just wonder like how much of this album was she like intentionally trying to tie to past eras to like, I don't know, close the loop, come full circle to like, I don't know.
To clarify, because I think this was a conversation we had offline where previously her costumes, the colors aligned kind of to the, for most part, to the era that she was in. So, for example, the Lover bodysuits were all in those pastels, except or pinks. And now in Paris, she debuted this like reddy orange. So that's very
Yeah.
different for the Lover era. So her color schemes are now shifting a little bit,
Blurring.
blurring the lines. And I think it makes sense because both Midnights and TTPD, she's been re-recording and revisiting all these old
Yeah.
eras in her old music. So I think it makes a lot of sense that lyrically, visually, musically, you would have these references come back. And this is a tour that's all about it's an accumulation of her entire career thus far.
But also TTPD feels like one of those albums that she's told us she was planning it for a long time. And
Mhm.
it feels like even though that maybe she's written songs about things that were going on in her life more recently, it does feel like the way that she is visually showing that in this concert that that goes through all of her past eras. It's like she's almost wanting us to think like she's
Connect the
trying to
dots.
she's trying to throw us some throwbacks.
Well, let's talk
Uh,
about some of those in But Daddy, I Love Him, because I think we see a lot of those there. We've got the country single roads, and the music there goes to her country roots. So there's some country twang in that song as well.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because there's also the whole church scene with the
Mhm.
stained glass, and then in So High School, the church, what were basically the pews in the church, become the bleachers
The
for the high
bleachers.
school, which
So
is a
cool.
very much a throwback. Also, to seeing So High School at the beginning of Fearless in the Eras tour, she often, not the beginning, I think before one of the songs, she says something about let's go back to high school
Mhm.
together. It's this kind of this reference of this throwback, but it even stylistically, like
Yeah.
the sound of the song is a throwback to how she used to make music, which I
Mm.
thought was really fun. And we kind of get all of that woven in together. But yeah, you get this very southern, like church, small town feeling in it, which is very country.
Very country, very early Taylor, and then high school. Almost okay. So it's interesting. So you get like debut Taylor a little bit in But Daddy, I Love Him. Then you get a little bit of Fearless Taylor in So High School, and those that bleachers. She's cheer captain, and I'm on the bleachers. Look, here she is on the bleachers, but she's
Yeah.
cheering for
Yeah. And
her boyfriend.
song So High School is also kind of like a nostalgic song, but the way she did
Very.
it, it was so fun. It was like high energy, fun, and it made me think of Fearless Taylor. Like it made me think of like a younger version of her.
For sure. For sure. And it's also, I would love to hear the whole song in the show. I know why she doesn't do the whole show song. I get it. But it's so short. But it's also a huge juxtaposition then between So High School and the next one, which may be I have two favorites. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? That is where my jaw dropped.
Okay, so I want to talk about what was happening. I didn't see it. I watched 2 live streams. The second one is when I saw what's happening in the background of Who's Afraid of Little Ol' Me. There's so much on stage, but what's happening on that screen, it's this like fancy old mansion, and you just see the outline in this upper window. And I don't know if it's even looks like or anything, but it just made me think of the Rhode Island mansion and the way that we know throughout the Reputation era, there was this kind of hiding away, this almost this princess locked in the tower. But then the whole pivot of the song is this isn't a princess who needs rescuing. You need rescuing from this princess, is what it felt to me is the pivot that's happening there.
That mansion to me was very Mrs. Havisham. Great Expectations.
I was waiting for Jen to bring up the Bronte sisters.
No, that's Dickens. That's Dickens.
That's Dickens, but it's all very gothic.
I was thinking of Jane Eyre. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of Jane Eyre as well.
Same vibes.
Yeah,
locked in an attic.
Locked in an attic.
Very
gothic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The part of, I mean, I first of all love that song, and I think it lends itself so well to screaming it in a stadium. The part that I kind of that like really made me think. So here's a song. So it's interesting. She's got a lot of songs on TTPD that criticize critics or her fans. So, but Daddy I Love Him is a criticism of some of her fans, the Sarahs and Hannahs clutching their pearls. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is also, talking to fans, critics, saying like, you did this to me. Like, you created this. And that platform that she levitates on appears to be mirrored around it. So if you are standing in the audience looking at her, you're seeing your own reflection. Who's afraid of little old me? You should be. And you are watching her and then also watching yourself. And that is incredible.
The first You Should Be gave me
chills.
Goosebumps.
So many chills.
It was so good. I mean, just like the timing of it, the way that she did it, I loved that she had that platform and the dress billowing, and like no matter how many times you like rewatch that, like really like talk about putting gravitas in a moment, like it was incredible.
The only thing she could have done differently to make it even more powerful is literally have like Peter Pan strings and levitate and fly throughout the whole stadium. And like she didn't need to do that because it has so much impact the way she like flies through, levitates across that stage.
I was just gonna say, like, was she actually levitating at some point? Like, was it an illusion? What is it?
It's an illusion, so it looks like to be. I mean, again, we all watched it on this like little pixelated.
I was just gonna say, I couldn't really see.
It's a mirrored platform that moves, and she's got some sort of pole that's like she holds onto. That way, she can kind of like bend backwards and do what she needs to do, and also not fall off. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like the dancer is clear, like they.
So they're there towards the end. That was one of the things that I thought was interesting. She does this thing from the platform where she points and it like all the dancers like almost fall back, and then she kind of draws them in, they lean forward, which is also I felt was a reference to what happens in the Eras tour of the power she has over the crowd. She does the pointing
very
thing
mastermind.
All the time. Very mastermind, but in the context of the song, it's almost like there's too much power, put narcotics in all my songs, but they stay kind of far away, but they're still there, but she's like exerting that control over them.
It's amazing.
And then this was the song where there's also a version of her on the big screen with like the scary face.
At the end,
yes.
Right?
So that's how it ends, which is a fascinating transition because it ends with her being scary, these wide eyes, and then we go into UFOs for Down Bad, which I thought was interesting.
So freaking cool.
But it's like she's scary, she's kind of this monster, and then now aliens appear. It was just kind of a cool transition, I thought of. And that one, she's kind of the bad guy, and then we move into a song where there's a scary creature and she's the victim. We immediately flip it.
There's no the team that does the visuals and the staging and the lights needs to win an award. I don't know what award
I agree
there is for this, but like the Tonys are coming up for Broadway show, and I'm like, it's theatrical, but like on a much bigger scale, and it is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. No words.
I no words, but we have to have words because it's a podcast. That's literally what we do.
Just come listen to me being speechless.
Down Bad. Yeah, Down Bad's amazing. I think it was interesting because I think there's been so many dances to Down Bad on TikTok. So I think my expectation would be that this would be a big dancey song, and it wasn't. It was just her on the platform getting like beamed up by a UFO and moved around like on a Roomba.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the other thing that's happening on TikTok now. There's people putting their cats on Roombas and being like, "It's
Ye-
Taylor Swift and Down Bad." Yeah,
I've
you
seen
like
that and
Jen.
it's so funny.
Can you guys do that with your cats, please?
My cats would
My cats-
never.
Right.
My dog is
exactly.
afraid of the
I
Roomba.
almost jinxed you. Yeah. Would never. I think it's interesting now we're like a few songs in and the choice of songs, the way that she like kind of put this together is really interesting because we've talked about how we really thought that this album was just like such a sad, devastating album. And yet the way that she's like kind of layered these songs together, we've just gone through like 4 songs. And so far, outside of Who's Afraid of Little Ol' Me being a very powerful song, you've got no sad here so far. It's been very fun.
Okay, so speaking of, I'll put this on social, but I have my TTPD crying ranking in my phone, my tears ranking. And yeah, so far, none of the ones that have the most tears, actually, the most crying, according to my unofficial ranking, we haven't talked about yet, but we will, is a 3 out of 5. So right now, no, none of these are zeros though.
Yeah.
Down Bad is a 1 crier, but Daddy I Love Him is 2 tears, but it's more of like a getting it
Happy
out.
crying.
I don't even have Down Bad's 1. So High School is 0.
Yeah, so it's like she's picked these songs that, which I mean makes sense for this concert or tour. Like you have to have upbeat or like kind of you don't want to be such a downer, but at the same time, like I think she's also like she's made these songs that I think in the context of a somewhat really sad album were like more mellow songs. She makes them super fun with the music and the dances. Like
We're
she's
almost
found
at the
a way
really,
to,
really fun ones too.
yeah, that's true. But like she's found a way to already like make them very upbeat. And that was also one of the things like when I heard that she would be adding these songs, I was like, I don't understand how she's going to do this because they are like really freaking depressing.
You're the most skeptical Swiftie ever.
Just a healthy skeptic.
That's fine. It's good.
But blown away. Like it's like, okay, wow, like you've made this really, really fun and engaging and like really epic, right?
I think what's interesting for me is again how like critical these songs are of the fans and how meta some of these songs are, and we'll get into. I'll talk about that with the last song more, but just there's an interesting juxtaposition of like these songs are critical of the fans, and she's sitting here on stage doing them. Not all of them are critical of the fans, to be clear, but there's a lot of thinking that we as fans need to do when we're listening to these songs. And so then to be in a stadium and watching her perform them, they take on a different meaning.
Yeah.
Jen, what were you
Well,
saying?
the transition from Down Bad into Fortnite, I didn't really catch it the first time I watched the stream, but the second day I was realizing it was a really interesting combination because the lines that she combined were essentially "fuck it if I can't have him," "I love you, it's ruining my life," and I thought that was
Interesting.
really cool to combine those. And the way it was done, I almost need to watch it again to really get it, but I almost felt like one was out loud and then it almost like echoed, so it almost felt like there was one, I believe the "fuck it if I can't have him" was like out loud, almost as if she were saying to someone, "Oh, fuck it if I can't have him," but then in her mind thinking, "I love you, it's ruining my life."
Interesting.
And I thought that was a really interesting transition into Fortnite and an interesting combination of songs of Fortnite and Down Bad. It was just interesting. I really liked it. I think I'm gonna have to like sit on it longer to see what the impact is, but like you said, this album is very much a journey, which I do see, and I think that combination is that journey of anger and sadness that you can have when you're moving on from something. So it was kind of cool to see those overlapped before moving into Fortnite, which we can now discuss Fortnite.
Yeah, anger, sadness, but also
Victory.
as you get more distance from these emotions, you process them differently and you're able to look at them versus experience them. And I think it's very, doesn't sound like there's been a ton of distance if she was literally writing this album as she was on the Eras Tour this time last year, but it's enough distance that she's able to then bring out a whole freaking marching band to sing a song, which is a devastating song. I don't know. I know we just skimmed over Fortnite. We should say a little bit more
let's
about
talk
Yeah.
about Fortnite.
Yeah.
This was a song that we actually got a music video for.
Mhm.
So we already have one visual representation of it. And she did kind of mimic the music video at some points. But what did you guys notice in terms of what was different even from the music video?
I thought the tilted bed stage was interesting. Obviously,
cool.
we have a reference to Tilted Stage and Look What You Made Me Do, but it also made me think of Reputation Tour. It was that she had the tilted stage at the end
Mhm.
that they used. I can't remember exactly which songs, but she's used a tilted stage herself before. Again, that self-referential. It does feel like she's calling back to these moments and either changing them or reclaiming them. Or I don't know, in some ways, I almost feel like the Torture Poets Department and Midnight's, I do feel like she said she kind of wrote them all in a row, was this recollection of all of the eras and saying, like, they're all valid.
Mhm.
Kind of, like, here's the modern version. I'm gonna look back on all these things and I accept them. It's almost like closure. It's that I don't know exactly the words for it, but they do feel like a survey of the eras.
You are a collection of your experiences.
Yeah, something. Yeah, which the anthology is a fascinating name for that, because an anthology is often a collection of art.
Well, and that's why I love this like idea, because she told us that Midnight's is this collection of 13 sleepless nights that have kind of happened like throughout her whole life, like referencing past eras. And then this song is Fortnight. It's about 14 days, and she's talking about how she touched him for a fortnight. And so it's interesting to think of like maybe this is like that last piece. It's like the final piece that we needed, but could be still referencing her whole life, not just the past 2 years.
I need us to deep dive with Fortnite because I enjoy it, but I'm like, do I get it or am I just singing along? Unknown. And I want to spend more time with the visuals, both in the music video and the concert.
I guess the reason that I started off with what did you guys find that was different from the music video is because a lot of it I think was similar. Like, yes, the tilted bed stage, there's a tilted bed in the music video. Like the way that she was sitting with the other dancer is, of course, similar to the Post Malone kind of imagery. And
when they're at the typewriter.
Yeah, and so it's interesting, like it was like an interesting way of seeing like, okay, here's the like adaptation of the video on the stage in many ways, and I thought it was interesting how she did that.
For sure. And then can we transition? Because the last two are okay.
The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
I need the live concert version of the song because the drums make it.
Yeah.
And it's not that powerful. It's not as powerful on the album itself. It is unbelievable on stage.
I agree.
And this is a perfect example of a song that comes alive in person and did not have that same impact on the album for me.
I think a drum line brings any song to life in a remarkable way. But
Unbelievable.
Holy crap, yeah, like this
powerful.
It was so powerful.
Also, just the militaristic imagery really tells you something about the song that I didn't get just listening to it or listening to the lyrics.
The use of light. You have this entire album that's all like black and white. And until now, even the most of the visuals are mostly black and white, especially in Fortnite. Like everything is black and white, and her dress is black and white, and everything's black and white. And then all of a sudden, you have this red light that comes down as she's like being shot down.
I think I missed the red light.
There's a moment, a red light, and then she kind of goes down.
It's like, I think is it while the white flag is waving in the back?
Yeah, it's while it's waving.
So her and the dancers are all marching, and then the dancers like slowly start to fall down, right. And then she's still kind of going, but like as the dancers fall, like there's this red light on her, and it kind of looks like she's being shot because she stumbles when the red light comes, and then she gets up again and she keeps going. And then there's another red light, and then she stumbles, and then she gets up and she keeps going. And that's really powerful because also you just don't have any colored light anywhere else. It's just all black and white, and then you have this out of nowhere.
It's interesting to me too that it was happening while the white flag was waving. So the idea is that surrender has been
You've already surrendered.
claimed.
Yeah.
You've surrendered, and yet the shots are still
Still
coming,
being
and you're
fired.
still taking damage. People are going down,
Yeah.
even though you're waving the white flag.
A perfect example of how the visuals add even more to the lyrics than the lyrics themselves could have conveyed, because you do get this sense in
Totally.
the lyrics that like this person was totally betrayed, but adding with the added imagery of a white flag of surrender, but still getting
Yeah, like who shoots down somebody after they've surrendered?
that's already
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
This I can't wait to see it in person.
Well, and then so she's shot, she's down, and then we have this whole scene before we go into I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
That scene, this is Taylor at her theater kid best. Probably actually all of Tortured Poets section is, and she did call it Female Rage the Musical, which I felt so seen. Like, yeah, I knew she was a theater kid. She just gave us a musical. I can't wait. I just saw Hell's Kitchen, which is the Alicia Keys musical, and I'm like, the whole time, I mean, it's amazing. People should go see it. But I was also like, okay, the Taylor Swift musical is also going to be amazing. And here she gave us Female Rage the musical, and this little interstitial where her dancers are the ones that physically have to pick her up off the floor and carry her as if to, and then dress her, like undress her and redress her, as if to say, you've been shot down, you can't function, and yet you have to go function.
I also loved the way she did all of that with the clear reference to the message of Clara Bow.
Can we also wait? I just have to pack up, Jen, because your note for I Can Do It With the Broken Heart is just the fucking intro. So we can't stop talking about the intro without saying what your note on the intro was, which is the fucking intro.
Because it's this Clara Bow thing that was really getting to me, of the whole song of Clara Bow. And we get this with the references, just the music is kind of old-timey. It has the script on the screen is a silent film-esque, which is Clara Bow. But the whole message, in my opinion, of Clara Bow is the idea of women in fame are whatever is new, whatever is shiny will be worshipped. There's something about like, this is the God we're worshiping now. And then you move on to the next one, you move on to the next one. And so the idea of holding on to success, of being able to do what you love, you have to go through kind of insane things. You have to deal with these expectations. And so I loved that she did this intro in the same way of, you could take her out, you could put in Clara Bow, you could put in Stevie Nicks, you could put in any famous woman.
Female.
And and it's basically, I just went through war, and guess what? These, if I recall correctly, I think it's her male dancers too who are doing it, that they're propping her up, putting her shoes on. She has to like undress in front of them. It's all very...
And they're positioning her.
Yep.
She's a puppet.
Positioning her body. She's a puppet. Can we talk about the costume for a second? Because we keep talking about it like self-referential. I caught like the circus ringmaster outfit vibes from Red. Like that outfit, it was in gold. We've seen it before. Like we've seen it.
Oh, the Clara Bow jacket?
The jacket that she's wearing.
Oh, I saw the jacket I thought more of the jacket in The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, where she's doing the marching. Like that to me felt more like the Red marching band era. But they're both.
That one reminded me of You Belong With Me, the music video.
Yeah, that's yes, I agree. I was kind of thinking, and I don't know if that's just with the marching band.
Okay, so if we're talking about the costumes in I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, I would like to bring it to my favorite topic, which is, again, musicals. Taylor Swift told us. To me, the costumes and the choreography all came back to A Chorus Line. A Chorus Line is a 1975 musical about the personalities and the backgrounds of the performers who are auditioning for this chorus line. The whole first song of A Chorus Line is I Hope I Get It. It reveals the performers' anxieties as they are performing. It's their inner monologue. That is what I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is. It is her inner monologue while she's performing. And here the dancers, so in the last song in A Chorus Line is One, and they're in gold leotards and jackets, and I think they have top hats as well. So like to me, that, and I know it's also old Hollywood. They've got the fans, which is like the Follies girl. So it's a combination of all of it, right? She's not referencing any one thing,
Sure.
but
It
immediately
goes
to
together,
me,
yeah.
that I saw parallels to a chorus line and just the inner monologue, and like here's what the people are, who they are and what their histories are and what they're bringing to the stage, even though all you see is the glitter and the glam and the feathers and the top hats. And that we knew this song was going to be like, if she was going to bring any song to the tour, it was going to be this one because it is the most upbeat, but she did it in such an incredible way.
And I mean, yeah, I guess like I thought I didn't catch that. I didn't know that reference. For me, it was like it reminded me of. It kind of reminded me Britney Spears' circus song also is a similar meaning
Yep.
of just like all eyes on me in center of the ring, just like a circus.
Great point.
And this idea that she could do it with a broken heart. She was performing at the whim of others and is a puppet and doesn't really like, it doesn't matter what she's got going on inside. Yeah, like she could be like dead inside. Like it doesn't matter. Like she's got to perform. The show must go on. And so I had this idea of like the circus where you're just
I think that's a great
putting on a show.
reference of another female artist who was just told to go perform and go act and go do.
Yeah.
Regardless of what she was actually feeling and experiencing.
We talked about this a little bit offline of just like the guilt or like the voyeuristic feeling of watching this song.
It's very meta.
People were screaming more when she sang more. And I genuinely, when I see it in November, I think I'm just going to be whispering like, I'm sorry.
Only if you want to.
Sorry.
Only if you feel like it. Which I don't know that, like, it's, talk about self-referential, talk about meta. Like, I don't think she wants us to feel guilty because that's not.
She made it fun. I mean, just like the other songs, she made it fun. It was a very, very powerfully depressing song, but she was like, I mean, obviously having the big smile is like part of the act, but she did make it fun. It looks like when she's performing it, she is having fun. But no matter how much fun she was having on stage, like watching that, my heart was like in my stomach.
It is
was
heartbreaking.
Such a sinking feeling.
She didn't have to include it in the Eras tour. Yeah. So I do have a like, I can enjoy this because she chose to do it, but it is uncomfortable to want to scream along with that song. Where I'm just like,
It's got 2.5 tears on my out of 5 on my.
It's the only song on the album, interestingly enough, I have actually shed a tear to.
Oh, but I've got
this is also one of those where like the more and more I also rewatch the videos because there's been clips circulating, it feels like you go on that whole journey of grief. Like when I first heard the song, it was like very, very sad. And then you get like, you kind of like go through the different various stages. And I can't help but feel really proud of her. Also, when you watch it visually, you're like, man, this is a significant moment. Yeah. Like it feels like a real like reclaiming. And I think similar to, when she does Who's Afraid of Little Ol' Me, very powerful moment where she's like really got a lot of energy and like it just feels very much like she's physically reclaiming something, and so very well done.
Again, there's not as much space from in this album from the time she wrote it to now as there is in, say, Reputation. But I think it's similar in that, you know, Reputation had a lot of anxiety. It was a very anxious and like nerve-wracking part of her life when she was writing it. But then when she's performing it, she's out of it and can reflect back. And I think we see that most clearly now in the Eras tour with Look What You Made Me Do and all the different Taylors. Like we now understand what that means. We didn't when that album and that song came out back in 2017. We know now it's about her reclaiming and owning her masters. Seeing these songs performed on stage now, I agree with you, Monsi. There is this, yes, I was broken and battered and beaten, and I did it, and I'm still doing it, and I'm here, and I'm thriving. And so yes, it's still like a little uncomfortable to dance around to, but also to your point, Jen, like she put this in the show as a reclaiming. Like again, we go back to like she wrote these songs about something, they mean something different when we experience them.
They're our story now. Like
They're
she
our
says,
story now.
it's up for us to like do with it what we will. And it was overwhelmingly fun. It's like it
So
was
fun. I never thought I would say Tortured Poets Department was fun, but it was really fun.
Yeah, everything you say is true, and yet I will still feel very uncomfortable
guilty
dancing to that song live. So that some of that might be me.
Well, that's why I think it was like it felt like kind of like voyeurism where you're like enjoying it and you're watching it, but you're kind of like, why?
I think it just makes you think. I think that
Yeah.
good art makes you think. Yeah, there's art and things that you can enjoy on the surface just for fun or just for an aesthetic experience. And this is one that you can have that like, yep, this is fun, or you can go to that next level and be like, wait a second, what she's really saying is she might be in severe pain right now, and we are here asking her to do more. So I think it's both. I think it's all of it.
Talk about emotions though, like really, like I think this entire mix of songs like
It's a good
really
balance.
punches you in the gut, like shiver, like there were physical reactions to this like entire list of songs, this entire section, which is kind of crazy and really incredible when you can get that in a show, especially from an album that we've been all listening to nonstop for weeks now. It's like, it's not like we're hearing these songs for the first time. Like we've been listening to them.
3 weeks. It's only been out for 3 weeks.
Wow.
That's weeks.
Well, and I think, and maybe this is the way she ends this section, which maybe this will be the way we end this episode, but I wasn't sure if she did Torture Poets, if she would start or end with I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. And what I thought was really interesting watching it is she ends with I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, obviously, but the final line is try and come for my job. And then she moves into the acoustic set where she's revisiting hundreds of songs that she has written over the years. And I thought that was a really interesting transition of I can do it with a broken heart, try and come for my job. And now I'm going to move into a set where it's just me and an instrument playing songs that I wrote and I've been performing for years. I thought there was something really beautiful in that transition there too. It's victorious and let's revisit
the old stuff.
Everything I've done.
I like that.
I was starting to get this feeling. We talked about this a little bit offline too, that I was starting to get this feeling in re-listening to this album over and over again, that the more you listen to it, you get past the sadness a little bit and you get into the other emotions and you kind of feel more of that victorious and reemergence and like coming out on the other side of it over time. And I think that was really validating in watching this set in the show, because the way that she would perform them, yes, there are really powerful moments, but you kind of get past that sadness and you really come out on the other end where you're like just really proud and kind of feeling victorious, you know?
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll revisit this after we see it in person or after we sit with it, but I think
please DM me if you are selling tickets.
As like, if Monzi has come around and is glad that it's part of the show now, we know Taylor did a good job. She was the biggest skeptic. So, well, that's it for now. This was a bonus episode, but otherwise, check us out every Wednesday. We have a new episode where we dive into Taylor's lyrics and enjoy her art. We'll see you next time.
That's all we have for you today on AP Taylor Swift. Be sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on your social channel of choice at AP Taylor Swift to stay up to date. And join us next time as we overanalyze and deep dive into the next Taylor Swift song on AP Taylor Swift.